On behalf of St. Tammany Hospital Foundation, St. Tammany Health System, and St. Tammany Hospice, I want to welcome you again to our Angels of Light celebration. My name is Paula Toops, and I'm an Assistant Vice President for Home Health and Hospice. And for the last 9 years, I've come to you as an introductory speaker for this event, one of my favorite events of the year. I've often spoke of hospice care, how it assists you in caring for you and your loved ones during great challenges and periods of great need. Unfortunately, the past couple of years have been like no other. COVID-19 has affected all of our lives, and I want you to know that we recognize how harshly it affected you and your families. Collectively, we all want to forget how horrible it was then. We forget how little we knew about COVID then compared to what we know now. We couldn't visit family members in the hospital or in the nursing homes. Wearing masks made it difficult to read the faces of our loved ones to know just how they really felt. There was distance between us all that's not natural for social beings. Most of all, it affected many of our traditions that we've come to enjoy and celebrate in our lives. Even last year, we had our Angels of Light celebration as a virtual event. As a hospice staff, we decided that we could not care for you and your families by phone or Zoom. Even though we were afraid of this new virus, we had to continue to provide hands-on care. At times, it looked as if you were being cared for by astronauts. I remember a daughter of a patient in a nursing home telling me that she could only recognize her mother's hospice nurse with her PPE on. She didn't know who she was except for between here and here. And while seeing patients during that time was difficult and our hospice staff couldn't come into the office, we made a way. We would meet them at the door with coffee and treats. We supported them any way we could and helped them, handed them supplies, handed them paperwork, whatever they needed to get the job done. I cannot express my pride and love for those courageous and loving caregivers who put their safety and concerns aside to care for you and your loved ones. I cannot express my pride and appreciation to our St. Tammany Health System Board of Commissioners, executive team, and foundation for providing all the support and supplies that we needed to provide care. We didn't miss a beat during that time, and many hospices were not so fortunate. In closing, I want to thank the Maloney family for the gift of the beautiful tree that we're going to light tonight. Thank you also for sharing your story of your angels, Mr. and Mrs. Robert Maloney Sr. Thank you to you all for the support you've shown, for all the angels on the tree, for being here tonight, for allowing us the privilege of caring for your loved ones. My mom passed away 3 years ago and was a hospice patient, and she's an angel on this tree. And like many of you, I would much rather her be with me here tonight rather than to be on the tree. So let us continue to support each other like we've been supported, like our hospice team has been supported, and let us love each other like our staff loved you and your loved ones. Let us let COVID know that while it may have changed some of the ways that we show love for one another, it will never change our love for each other. My prayers and blessings to each of you throughout this season. Thank you. I'd like to introduce Chaplain Mike Bennings.
Good evening. I'm Chaplain Mike to start our celebration for the Angel of Lights with a prayer. It is so good to be back here in this lobby, and welcome to you all. So let us pray. Our Father, we thank you for this gathering in a hospital. It was so missed. Your blessings for all 451 angels on this tree, for all of those sharing with us in this ceremony tonight. May we this evening, we all feel the love, the memories of all those who have gone before us and all who are with us still. This ceremony is to recognize all of God's people. Father, please listen to our thoughts, hold our tears, and walk with us through this journey, through this season. Amen. Thank you.
My name's Rock Kendrick. I'm on the Board of Trustees and a United States veteran. As a former Marine, the son of a veteran, the brother of a veteran, and the father of a former Marine who is now a active Green Beret, I'm honored to be part of the Angels of Light Honor Red, White, and Blue Ministry. At this time, I would like to ask any present veterans to stand and be recognized for your service to our country. I want to thank each of you, and I know all here wish to thank you as well. The often life-altering decision to join the armed forces comes with much that is never heard nor seen by the general public. America's veterans and their families have done everything asked of them in their mission to serve our country, and it is never too late to bestow our appreciation and honor on them. St. Tammany Health System's Honor Red, White, and Blue program distinguishes these veterans for their contributions and remembers them for their sacrifices to their families and to our nation. In addition, the program provides a flag tribute ceremony for recently deceased veterans, as well as an honor display established by the foundation in the main lobby of our hospital. And please take time to view this tribute. It's right back down this hall. It's very inspiring. But through Angels of Light, it is our privilege to introduce a new way to honor these individuals and remember their selfless acts of patriotism. In tonight's program, Angels of Light, known service members are recognized with an American flag noted on their tribute angel. Our hope is that this simple act of gratitude will continue to bring the remembrance and respect to these distinguished men and women as deserving in return for their service. Semper Fi, and thank you.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Bobeck. I'm the music therapist here with the hospital. I like to tell people I'm a therapist first and I do music second. That's my tool, so I would love to hear everybody's voices sing along with me, so I'm not alone, okay? We're gonna sing Silver Bells together, okay? City sidewalks, busy sidewalks, dressed in holiday style. In the air there's a feeling of Christmas. Children laughing, people passing, meeting smile after smile. and on every street corner you hear. Ready? Silver bells, beautiful. Silver bells, it's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Strings of street lights, even stoplights, blink a bright red and green as the shoppers run home with their treasures. Hear the snow crunch, see the kids bunch. This is Santa's big scene. And above all the bustle you hear. Silver bells, silver bells, it's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Rishu. I'm Director of Patient Relations here at St. Tammany Health System, and these are our St. Tammany Health System vocalists. Please join us as we sing Silent Night. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Nicole Surrey, and I'm Executive Director at St. Tammany Hospital Foundation. I'd like to take this moment to thank each and every one of you for your meaningful tribute gifts, all in support of our hospice program. This year's Tree for Life is dedicated in loving memory of Bobby and Bonnie Maloney. At this time, I'd like to invite our Tree for Life sponsor and our foundation board member, Renee Maloney, to the podium to speak on behalf of the Maloney family.
Thank you all for being here today at the Angel of Light event. We see all these tribute angels honoring our loved ones. I'm sure that many of you have angels on this tree, as well as we do, and we've all experienced some type of loss in our life. I must say, what comes to mind for me is something the Maloneys would always say to us. Life is hard. That's why you can't forget to celebrate. Bonnie and Bobby Maloney married in 1959, and in a few short years, found themselves raising 8 children. They never mentioned that was hard, but trust me, they did remember to celebrate. Years moved on and the children grew up, and Bobby found himself battling congestive heart failure. There were many surgeries. He never complained. There was a change of diet. He did complain. But he would hunt, he would fish, and he'd spend time with his family and his friends. His family was his life, and trust me, he celebrated. Together, Bonnie and Bobby finally decided to semi-retire, so they bought a working ranch. They spent most of their weekends at the ranch, and we were with them, raising kids, working in gardens, just being together as a family. Bonnie had a tragic accident and she lost her right arm. It was devastating, but she never complained. She moved on and honestly never skipped a beat. She did share with me one day that on the days that she was upset about her injury, she would let herself cry for 7 minutes. She said 10 was just too long, and 5 just wasn't enough. She said, life is hard, so don't forget to celebrate. In their final years, they lived and were treated here at St. Tammany Hospital. The staff, the nurses, the doctors, and especially our friend Paula, made sure that they were comfortable and made sure they were well cared for. Bonnie battled cancer, Bobby ultimately heart failure, but they were both able to pass at peace at home, surrounded with their family, their grandchildren, and their loved ones. So thank you, St. Tammany Hospital. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Hospice. With that being said, we had an opportunity to dedicate this event to Bonnie and Bobby during the Christmas season, and what came to mind, yes, losing them was very hard, but we can't forget to celebrate. They didn't tell us how to live, they lived, and they let us watch and learn. It's my pleasure to ask that the 2021 Hospice Tree for Life now be lighted in honor of all the angels who graced it this evening.
Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Craig. 6 years ago, we began a tradition of honoring perpetual angels on our Tree for Life. These perpetual angels are comprised of individuals who have since passed away, but who performed extraordinary acts of kindness, service, or generosity to St. Tammany Hospital Foundation during their lifetime or upon their death. I am proud to present and honor these very special angels this evening. Gilbert J. Hattier III, our first perpetual angel, for his legacy gift in support of pediatric advancements. His most generous bequest remains the largest gift the foundation has received to date. Richard F. Dick Knight. Mr. Knight was not only instrumental in forming our foundation, he also served as a member of our Board of Trustees until 2013. He was a generous contributor to the foundation and leaves a legacy that includes volunteerism, monetary donations, and gifts of art. Dr. Adrian B. Cairns. Dr. Cairns, one of our founders of the foundation, also served as first chairman of our board. In 2009, the title of Chairman Emeritus was conferred on him, and he served on the Board of Trustees in that capacity until his death. Richard Dick Kelly. Mr. Kelly was a Board of Trustees member and generous philanthropist to the foundation, who was particularly passionate about supporting hospice and home health. And finally, John Peasy Romano, our most recent addition to this very special list. A founding member of the foundation and beloved member of the St. Tammany Health System Board of Commissioners, Peasy's passion for this hospital, a second family to him, leaves a legacy of integrity and service for generations to come. Thank you all for being part of this.
Good evening. My name is Melanie Rudolph. I am the Foundation Specialist with St. Tammany Hospital Foundation. At this time, I would like to recognize our special sponsors for this year's ceremony. I would like to thank Susan and Kenneth Latham and their family for sponsoring our luminaries this evening in memory of Philip Barton Pfeffer, Rosemary and Philip Pfeffer, and Edith and Lloyd Dan Latham. Their very generous gift has helped us to light the path to this year's Angels of Light ceremony. You will notice each luminary is dedicated in memory of each of our special sponsors' loved ones and the veterans we are honoring through tonight's program. Thank you, Susan and Ken, for this very generous gift and for continuing to support our hospice program. I would also like to thank our Tribute Angel sponsor, Eric and Angel Donovan and family, whose gift is dedicated in honor of the families who have lost loved ones to COVID this year. Their contributions to this event have enabled us to purchase the beautiful tribute angels that decorate our tree this year. Thank you to our music sponsor this evening, Mrs. Blanche McCluskey, who has dedicated tonight's musical entertainment in memory of Dennis V. McCluskey. Now I would like to specially recognize the tribute angels of our 2021 ceremony sponsors, whom are listed in tonight's program. Our sponsors' generous donations were in honor and in memory of the following tribute angels. In honor of Dr. Angela Buonaguerra, Tim Landtrip. In memory of Bertha Aid, Mrs. Karen App, Mary V. Babin, Ralph Red Babin, Johnny J. Babineau, William Barbie, Mr. and Mrs. E.J. Biesencon, Dale Bordelon, Thomas Tommy B. Boren, Ruby Burris, William H. Bird, Robert Bob Maxent Carbo, Carolyn Case, Larry Casso, Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Chetta, Dorothy Cohn, John E. Crutchfield, Mr. and Mrs. Valley de Bellevue, Myrna Delcom, Kathleen Donovan, Phyllis Durand, Sydney R. Evans, Shannon W. Evans, Willie Sherelle Pa Fears, Connie Feichner, Rita Mae Fletcher, Hunter Ford, Mr. and Mrs. Murphy Frosch, Suzanne Millette Gibson, Roland Golden, Mrs. Marietta Griffin, Mary Haino, Chris J. Abear, Peggy Margaret Newell Hesseltine, Norvie L. Hicks, Doris Massey Hicks, Karen Hicks, Richard F. Knight, Sally P. Knight, Mr. and Mrs. Albert Kramer Sr., Mr. and Mrs. Pete LaCroix, Mr. Fenner LaCroix, Mrs. Tessie LaCroix, Mr. E.J. LaCroix Jr., Mr. and Mrs. E.J. LaCroix Sr., Virginia Lambert, Marie Lieb, Donald Lowery, Jeannie Maloney, Mr. and Mrs. Robert Maloney Sr., Caleb Mamu Manuel, Joyce Mathern, Ken Mathern, Malcolm David MacArthur, Linda Miller, Lorraine Dunn Millette, Linda Morell, James Norton, Mike O'Leary, Rosemary and Philip Pfeffer, Jane Colleen Pittman, Bernice S. Plaisir, Justin Reifschneider, Leah Riggs, Mrs. Gladys Ringen, John Peasy Romano, Mary Rose, J. Paul Roussel, Dottie Pellegrin Roussel, Robert Simpson, Marie Smith, Marie L. Stanga, Dee Dee Sutton, Laverne Taylor Talley, Aunt Martha Thompson, Uncle Jim Thompson, Julian Toops, Yvonne Toops, Charlie Vandercook, Pat Vandiver, Julian Woods. Again, thank you to our special sponsors. And now I'd like to invite Stephanie Atwood, Cindy Fowler, Michaela Thompson, and Alden Triforos to read the names of those who have been honored and memorialized with tribute angels this evening.
In honor of Jerry Otan, Pat Clanton, Blake Cortez, Fritz and Barbara Culver, Rosalie T. Flippin, Scott and Raina Gardner, Patsy Gomez, Tom Knight, Hector and Misty Lopez, Peggy Grandmama Lucas, Isaac Marquise, Rachel Marquise, Meg, Lucy, and Margaret, Sue Moffett, Victor E. Noto Jr., Gagi Pam Orlando, the Rollman and Dennis families, Eric L. Sprague, Matthew Stewart, Mary and Leon Toops, Camille Jane Triforos, Jack Bernard Triforos, Scarlett Elise Triforos, J.P. and Valerie Warner. In memory of Sam Abney, Sina Faye Ladybug Atkins, Master Sergeant David Atkins, Carol Pittman Amond, Covert Anderson, Eric Joseph Anzalone, Rosa Marie Ama Aparicio, Valerie Arnold, Tilly All, Bob Ed All, Betty Averett, Louis Arthur Audie Bachman Jr., Kelly Byer, Carmen Bagwell, Michael Baldini, Colleen Bardwell, Tina Bartow, A.J. Baumgardner, Doris Baumgardner, Jean Bays Sr., Glenda Bays, Watson Beard, James Buddy Beck, Betty Jo Bell, Carol Bertrand, Joseph Blaze, Benjamin Marquette Blanchard, Mike and Lily Booz, Blanche and Dalton Boudreau, Donna Boudreau, Laverne Boudreau, Raymond Boudreau, John J. Brady, Holly Ann Brady, Robert Brillhart, Pat Brister, Alfred Brown, Verdell Brumfield, Shirley Buddendorf, Chad Bunting, David Bullock, Leon Blow Burris, Sherry R. Burris, Bobby Burke, William Allen Burke, Walter Burris, William Paw Bird, Dorothy Carroll, Ricky Carroll, Sherry Thurn Carter, Dan Castaban, Brian Shea, Ronald Cheney, the Christian Brothers of St. Paul School, Brother Alfred, Brother Ralph, Brother Lewis, Brother Dwayne.
In memory of Becky Clemens, Leo Coleman, Scout Coleman, Frank and Teresa Comberell, Guy and Annie Como, Scott Cohn, Carol Cortazio, Mickey Crochet, Dana Daigle, Frank D'Angelo III, Raymond Bubba Day, Reverend Stanley Preacher Day, Carmel and Lena DeLuca, Benny Deluzane, Mr. and Mrs. Cyril J. Donegan, Jimmy Donegan, Michael P. Donegan, Sarah Ann Thomas Douglas, Ann Dragna, Claire Drinkard, Paul and Nancy Dufour, Mrs. Doris J. Dugas, Mr. Kennedy J. Dugas Sr., Malon Ray Derman, Bobby Dwyer, William W. Dwyer Jr., Amy Edwards, Zelma Enriquez, Guy Epperson, Larry Fayard, Brittany Doubleday Feltz, Joseph Buddy Fetter, David Finn, Mary and Joseph Finucane, Christina E. Fitzpatrick, Belinda Fitzsimmons, Clebert Foray, Lillian Foray, Linda Skidmore Foreman, Melba France, Barry Freelo, Alex Freelo, Brenda Fulton, Peggy Gallo, Nola Gambaluca, Naomi G.S. Giardina, Rose L. Graffia, John C. Graves, Greg and Jackie Gregory, Mark Grindley, Mary Gunter, Vera B. Hardman, Merrill Harris, Roy and Florence Hardwood, Lindsay Hardwood, Doris Roberts Hawkins, Abigail Healy, George W. Healy III, Michael C. Healy, John Drew Hereford, Lindell Richard Hester, Mildred Hill, Presley Rose Hill, Julius Flip Honnold, Lauren Horridge, Ron Huey, Harold Hughes, infant loss at St. Tammany Hospital, Aunt Alice Insalaco, Carl Muriel Giroux, Flo Joaquim, Foster Johns, Lucian Jolly, Max Jones, Ralph Juneau.
In memory of Ann Kastner, Clyde R. Keating, Carl and Hazel Kendrick, Carol and Billy Kinsel, Andy Kinsella, Kelly Kinsella, Angel Kinsella, Connie Kirkfield, Huey Klebert, Grammy and Poppy Knight, Lewis Knight, Hans Kozak, Larry and Patsy Kite, Ross Michael LaBrose, Joanne Lacoste, Edmund Lacoste, Estella Laura, Lester Ladiole, Judy Laddie Riviere, Julius A. Laurent Sr., Joe C. Leake Jr., Myrna LeBlanc, Miss Ara C. Lee, Mr. James J. Lee Sr., Jim I. Murray Lester, Oliver P. Lateef Jr., Cleotha Lewis, Minnie Lewis, Yelene Longwell, Alexander Lott, Kathy Lovell, Bobby Papa Lucas, Sharon K. Luke, Edward P. Lyons, Marion Sinclair Littleton, Don V. Littleton, Mr. and Mrs. Robert Maloney Sr., David Manton, Megan Manton, Shara Markev, Brandy Martinez, Louis B. Martinez, Eddie Marks, James Patrick McCarthy, Dennis V. McCluskey, Connor Nicholas McKeithen, Jacob McMahon, Michael Mendenheim, Winifred Minetri, Alan C. Michaels, R. Terrell Moffitt Jr., Charles Malero, Joanne Malero, Peyton Elizabeth Moore, Mansoor Motahari, Medai Motahari, Marianne Suzanne Motion, Mr. and Mrs. Clarence Muroz, Will Myers, Robert Myers, Mark W. Nycan, Carolyn Oberkirk, Jerry Lee Ann Odinet, Chris Oliver, Papa Pete Orlando, Jeanette Park, Miss Lisa Parr, Mr. Myron Parr, Jackie Peden, Chip Peralta, David Peralta, Elliot Peralta, Trent Perrin, Beverly Perry, Leona Peterson, Andre G. Planche, Lori Prevost, Michael D. Price, and Catherine Pritchett.
In memory of Beulah Punch, Ray Queen, Rhea Queen, Jay Rabelais, Aunt Jo Reinhardt, Francis and Molly Richard, Francis A. Richard, Samuel Sam Rogers, Don Rogers, Juanita Rogers, Leon Rogers, Sharon Rogers, Edgar Roig Jr., Mary Ann Roig, John Peasy Romano, Pat Rooney, J. Paul and Dottie Roussel, Linda Beverly Rudolph, Philip Sachs, Sylvia Sachs, Alcides R. Salcido, Concepcion Salcido, May Salmons, Doreen Scar, George F. Schminke III, Robbie Schmolke, Tammy Walters Schroeder, Robert Seago, Troy Seal Sr., Wes Seat, Mary Sebastian, Arthur Seegers, Audrey Seegers, Randall R.J. Siebert, Jean E. Senac Jr., Virginia and Richard Sinnett, Stella Shallon, James Buster Sharp, Genevieve Sharp, Gail Shaver, Talitha Schendel, Robert E. Shows, Jeremy M. Simon, Robert Simpson, William N. Sinclair, William Billy Slayton, William A. Slayton Jr., Eloise Smith, Catherine Smith, Gertrude Spell, James Spell, Joseph Joe Spell, Donna St. John, Hazel St. Romain, Donald Starkey Sr., Richard Stein, Arthur H. Stock III, Charles M. Stock, Lyle Story, Ronald Toops, Victor Trenchard, Colleen Trosclair, Chelsea Tumbleston, John Tumanello, Raina Turley, Lester Turner, E. Joanne Tynes, Valerie Valuri, Joseph C. Walther Jr., Kate Warner, Vera Watler, Lucy Wiseman, Gary Wheat Sr., Lynn B. Wheeler, Ronald Wheelis, Harold White, Mary White, John Christopher Williams, Ruth Anderson Williams, Angela Wilson, Angela Cavaretta Wilson, Eloise L. Watt, Eloise L. Wyatt, Frank L. Wyatt, Herbert Wynn, Imogene Wynn.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let the Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years we all will be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joan Kaufman, and I'm privileged to serve as President and CEO here at St. Tammany Health System. And as tonight's event comes to a close, I just want to remind us what a beautiful blessing this is to St. Tammany Health System and to the broader community, the Angels of Light Remembrance and Tribute. And I'm reminded that each angel is truly a symbol of love, with special meaning to each and every one of you. But collectively, it's a glorious celebration of life. And I want to take the opportunity to thank the St. Tammany Hospital Foundation for their generosity in hosting this event. For certainly St. Tammany Health System Hospice team, they do a great job for us, and they truly are angels of mercy. Certainly to Rock Kendricks for bringing our awareness that we do need to honor our veterans and pay homage to them. And certainly and finally to Renee and Craig and the entire Maloney family for celebrating with us the glorious family that you have and the glorious family represented here on our tree tonight. So with that, we do have one more song for you guys. I want to thank our musicians here tonight, and we'll go ahead and do one final song, and then I hope you can stay behind and join us for some celebration in the back. So thank you, guys.
Joy to the world, the Lord has come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare Him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Thank you.